The following podcast contains subject matter that may be unsuitable for more sensible viewers. Views expressed here do not reflect that of any community that you would want to be a part of. Listener discretion is mandatory. Mama, what does trans mean?
No! But, like, would it be gay if, like, you fucked your bro in the game, but you both played women? So would it be gay, or would it be gay in the other way?
Oh, fuck off. Oh, no.
What if you fuck your bro and you're both, like, both the polar bear?
What if you're Gordo, the guy with fucking 4 arms? Like, is that a dude?
Does Gordo also have 4 dicks?
We need to find out.
What
Oh
if
my god!
What if you fuck your bro, but, like, you're both thinking about women while you're fucking your bro?
And welcome again to another episode of Tranifesto, the show that asks questions like, is trap music gay? Moving on.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Hot take.
Hot take.
There was like this really good. There was like, I think it was like a 2 Chainz album called like "Girls Love Trap" or something. That
Yeah, they do.
yeah, that was my. I really wanted to like turn that into merch, but I couldn't find. I was actually desperately looking for the font that they used so I could like fuck around and make memes of it because it was so good, but it never happened.
Do you find
I
it's
hope
just
that
like,
you can find it.
it's so hard now. Anytime it's just everyone's just like, hey, look, I got like trap gear or just anything to do with trap now. I'm like, yeah, this is great. Fucking Scooby-Doo episodes watching with my daughter. Trap's like, it's for Fred in there. It's just like, I'm a trap enthusiast. I'm like, please stop, please.
Anyways, I apologize for us. I apologize for us repeatedly using the greatest slur that, you know.
We should censor it every single time we say
You're
it.
right. We apologize for calling ourselves podcasters.
I'm sorry for using the T word and the P word.
The P word.
Tea party. And yes, so I'm one of your hosts, Madeline Hops. As usual, I am joined today by
Amy Blair.
And Ree.
Hi, Ree.
truly the ER to our Piglet and I was about to say Elmo. No, Elmo. Elmo's not in that thing. Fucking Pooh Bear. There we go. Wow, kind of stumbled through that one.
Wait, who's who?
Ree's Eeyore, and I'm Winnie the Pooh.
Clearly.
And yeah, because I don't like
My
pants.
Piglet.
And you're Piglet. So today we are doing a TV episode, specifically of the new series or the new season of Black Mirror.
Well, in England, it is a series.
Okay, so yeah, in England it's new series. Is this the new season that just came out though?
Yeah,
Yeah, it
it's
just
a new
came out like
season.
a month ago or so.
It's bad.
Oh, it is. Anyways, so the name of the show, it's 2019, Striking Vipers, which is the first episode of the latest season on Netflix.
You know, it's
Black
called Black Mirror because when you look at your phone, it's like a black mirror, and
Oh,
you think
wow.
about how phones are ruining our lives.
Okay, so like in the
Technology!
second episode, it's only a 3-episode season, and in the second episode, literally the main guy just like he doesn't say everybody be texting, but he pretty much says
Bitches,
everybody be
texting.
texting, and it causes problems.
You ever think about how technology is actually bad?
You ever think about how Thomas Edison was a witch and fire is scary?
Black Mirror, written by the Unabomber, also known as Industrial Civilization and Its Future.
Yeah, Uncle Ted.
So,
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
this
this-
episode, written by Ted Kaczynski,
Yeah, please go.
known as Striking Vipers, which really subtle, the name.
So, Striking Vipers follows Danny, who's like this waspy black guy and his beautiful waspy family
Bospy.
out in... Huh? Boss.
You can't be a black wasp, it's like in the name.
I'm just saying, they have very big, like, Obama-like family vibes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, they're like miserable suburban family who are just tired and hate themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's about Danny, and he has his wife, Theo, and his friend from, I guess, college, Carl, who's, like, I guess, working on the record label now, so... Or
He's
something.
a bachelor.
Yeah, he's a bachelor living in the city, and they're, like, have two different kinds of lives. But anyways...
He's, like, 38, and he's on Tinder, which...
Yeah. So anyways, they reconnect, and Carl gives Danny a copy of the, like... Mortal Kombat analog that they used to play back when they were roommates.
It looks like Tekken.
Yeah,
Striking Vipers.
Striking Vipers. But it has like sort of the Black Mirror VR thing where you put a little doodad on your head and then you actually go into the game. So,
Evil doodads.
Yeah. So back in the day, they would play, and Danny would always play Lance, who's kind of like the, I guess, like, Ryu? Is that the name?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of like the Ryu analog, and then Carl would always play Roxette, who's like the kind of the Chun-Li character.
Yeah, Chun-Li, yeah.
So, anyway, so when they go
like
into the...
Asian girl.
Yeah, so then both, like buff Asian people, one guy, one girl. And then, so they go into the game VR style, and they're actually in it, and they're like, whoa, cool, I can actually control it. And then they are fighting it out, and then they
realize that you can feel every physical sensation, which
every
they say
single
out loud.
So yeah, they get
which somebody had to program into this game. Somebody had to go in there.
So anyways, they get knocked over, and then Carl as Roxette kisses Danny as Lance, and then panics and gets out. So anyways, that freaks them out, but then they end up going back into the game, just have an old game, and they end up fucking.
They don't even have an old game, they just go straight to fucking.
Yeah, exactly.
They just get in the game and they fuck.
So,
and it's like...
So these are two, like, explicitly heterosexual men, like, and then fucking each other in this game, which kind of sets up the theme of it. And they just keep doing this, and Danny
they always play the same characters.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So Danny starts to become, like, more and more estranged from his wife, more and more estranged from the family, like, and just
going into the game, fucking your bro.
Yeah, exactly, as you do. What's better than that? Just guys being dudes.
Guys having sex in a video game, because
just guys doing dudes. So anyways, they, and eventually, Danny's wife confronts him, is like, are you cheating on me? Like, what's going on? Or like what, you're so distant, like, you don't want to fuck me anymore, and they're trying to have a kid, so... Danny, like, doesn't say what happened, but, like, puts the VR chip, like, away and, like, doesn't do it.
Yeah, he puts the whole thing on hold.
Yeah, and then, just unknowingly, his wife invites Carl over for dinner, and the two have, like, a confrontation, and there's this great bit where Carl's just like, you can't get it out of your head. Nothing matches it, does it? I've been trying to...
You miss her tight, wet pussy.
Yeah, I've been trying to get back. I fucked the robots. I've been fucking other people as the same character. I even fucked Tundra, the polar bear character. I fucked the polar bear. Trying to get back to you.
They had fucking orgies and shit. Holy shit.
So
anyways, and orgies with rando players, and it just isn't the same as when you fuck me, bro.
Sounds like so much. It sounds like a great time.
I want to see what it looked like in the scenario where he tried to fuck the AI, like, because unless the AI is programmed to fuck, like, it's gonna keep trying to fight him.
He said that the AI would just lay there. Like he was in Super Smash Bros. Super Smash Bros. He was in Super Smash Bros. And like put the AI on like level 1, so it just stands there.
God. So yeah, then they end up like fucking again, like, and then Carl sort of just accidentally says like I love you in the game, and is like,
well,
whoa.
Okay.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah. Ugh. So and then
1 minute you're on a date with a boy. Yeah. You're out with a boy. Next, you're talking about fucking a polar bear together.
You're fucking your bro in a video game, and then he says he loves you like every time. Am I right, girls?
Is this not the new Call of Duty?
So anyways, Danny's like, okay, we're going to meet in real life, and we're going to kiss, and we're going to see if this is like a real thing between us, or if it's just a game thing, which I guess is technically the most mature thing that you could do in that situation.
Yeah, it was actually quite, like, brave of them. Quite mature. I feel like, let's just figure this out, just fucking kiss me, bro. Which I think was an actual line in the show.
Exactly. So then they do it, and then they're like, oh, I don't feel anything. Oh, I don't feel anything either. Which I was kind of expecting them to be like lying because they both
Yeah.
maybe it's just the way that they played it because it sounded
Yeah,
like
it
both of
seemed
them were
like they
lying.
were lying, but they weren't. I guess they got in a big fight.
Yeah, then they get into a
rain,
fist fight
and they
over
got
it in the rain.
Arrested.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Danny's wife comes to pick him up, and then he ends up, like, spilling the whole beans. And then it ends off with them. Again, another mature move is that he, once in a while, he gets to fuck Carl in the video game, and his wife gets to go fuck other people, like, in the bar. So...
Yeah, it's just polyamory. This is, like, a typical situation in Vancouver.
Polyamory is the correct answer to everybody.
Yeah, polycule will save the human race.
I mean, technically it's an open relationship. I don't want to misrepresent any of our poly listeners.
Yeah, please.
Okay, yeah, fair.
Yeah, please don't hate us.
The most oppressed minority. We don't want to give it any. We don't want it to be any harder on them than they already have it.
Yeah, a poly trans girl is just so rare. You never see them at all.
Yeah,
I'm allowed to make fun of poly people.
Some of your best friends are poly people.
They gave you a pee pass. Perfect. So yeah, so I think that was a pretty good synopsis. Again, if you haven't had a chance, please go watch the episode. There's lots of little nuances and details, but we'll start going over the stuff that we thought was interesting. To start off with,
there's like the obligatory question.
Yeah.
Like this whole episode was constructed to ask this one juvenile fucking question, which is fucking your homie when he's a girl in a video game like gay?
Yeah, this is the question of all time. This is the Socrates of queers question.
Which, like, I'm glad that they've moved on from our trap's gay to, like, is fucking your bros gay? Because that's called progress. It's the inevitable march toward communism. This is the dialectic.
Fully automated. Yeah, no, so is fucking your homie gay is a girl. So is it? I mean, fuck.
God, it's fucking stupid.
I don't, like, there's the idea in this, which is that gender not mattering in attraction to people, and the idea that even having to define this and what they were is a problem, because in a society or a situation in which we do not have to worry about labeling orientations or stuff like that, this would have been interpreted as a very different story. So there is, I would say it's still gay, because
it's like but gender like does apparently matter, because when they meet up in real life they're not into it.
Yeah,
it's only when when Carl is a girl that they're into it, which, like, I mean, it's fucking stupid.
Yeah, no, it is. And because it's also too, like, there could be a thing where it's almost like looking at the subtleties of being attracted to femme, because at the end of the day, that was still his friend as the character. But the
presentation, like the body and the voice were both, like, you know, completely, like, cis female.
Yeah, exactly.
So is Carl more gay? Because he's the bottom.
That's a very Greco-Roman.
This is ancient. An ancient question. Is it gay to bottom?
Tale as old as time.
But, so is it... I think it's kind of an interesting thing, because if, you know, Carl is still Carl and still, you know, they don't get into gender identity in this at all, so Carl still completely identifies as a man, just experiencing the female body and the female orgasm and the female place the traditionally female place in the sexual experience, yet still identifies as a man. So that's the question, is even though Carl is acting out femininity and the other person is perceiving femininity, does Carl's identity as a man make it gay, which, you know, calls into a lot of, you know, trans issues into question if the answer is no.
Because, it's almost like they've taken the literal, like, I mean, we were joking about this earlier, but the literal definition of a trap, which is it's the mentality's there. I would argue that it is gay, simply based on the fact that, like, Carl still identifies as a man. But
it's like if two straight dudes are sexting and one of them is, like, pretending to be a girl, but they both know that they're two straight dudes, which is just what Omegle.com was back in the day.
God.
Remember was it Chat Roulette?
Yep.
Oh God, yeah.
Fucking
Okay,
chat
but-
roulette.
sexual experiences on chat roulette.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. So let's assume. So assuming that. So because Danny knows that Carl is Carl and identifies as a man, is a man on the other side, despite the like whatever representation in their interpretation. So that makes it gay. But if Carl, did not fucked a stranger and did not tell them that that there was a cis man controlling it, would that be gay for the other person?
No, I mean, okay, like this is like where
Which is interesting because then it gets into like how does identity, where does identity matter? Because again, like if I don't know if when I was like maybe even like really 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 early in transition and in the closet, like still like maybe saying that I was a man and then fucking somebody, would it have but I was like, I was coming to terms, or maybe I did identify as a woman but wasn't expressing it in any way and like wasn't telling anybody about it and fucked somebody else, would they be fucking a woman? Which personally I don't think so, but obviously other people are going to experience that differently.
This reminds me of that ContraPoints video where like the liberal feminist is trying to wrap her head around trans lesbians. It's like, so you're a woman who was once a man, who is now fucking a woman who was also once a man, but you're both women, but you have a feminine penis, but it's a feminine penis. Because, like, it's just this juvenile conversation. It's like, the whole point, I think, is that sexuality is a construct and is not, like, based in any kind of objective measure of...
No, exactly. Like, the problem isn't
to this.
The problem isn't with the action being taken, it's with the constraints of the concept trying to be expressed.
Exactly, and that was what I was saying in the beginning, which is just like, this is a really good, like, as much as I wasn't overly keen on the episode, it does raise the good, interesting question. Yeah, it was trash. But we don't want to spoil that. But, like, the whole idea where it doesn't raise the question is it basically points out that, like, a lot of the struggle that's built into there is based on, like, reset, a social construct. Like, if this was, if attraction didn't matter, then it would... Oh. What's...
Sorry, that's just the dog.
Oh, okay, sorry. Things. I thought there was a baby crying.
No, it's the dog.
Which one of you has a baby?
I have a baby. I'm baby.
You're baby.
I'm also baby.
But yeah, no, like, it's the representation of just the fact that if you remove that from the society... A lot of people are okay because, like, there's panic in terms of, like, I mean, there's the cheating element in which obviously that character knew it was wrong and he was cheating on his wife, but he was also conflicted about whether it was gay or not. And that is, if you remove that from, like, society as it is right now, it just makes people happier. We live in a society. I heard that. But it just makes people happier, and it takes one more obstacle out of the way if you don't have to define yourself. Because, like, it's just like, well, I'm attracted to certain things, and then you have to, like, stress out over, like, what is it? Well, what happens if one day I'm attracted to someone who I say I'm not attracted to? And so,
it's
like
the real problem of this question is that we feel the need to ask it.
Yeah, exactly. And it shouldn't be, because, like, it's
like, you like to fuck the thing.
Yeah,
fucking
exactly.
Get in there, dude.
Yeah, fucking gelatin mold with googly eyes. Fuck that shit. Like, it's awesome. Just do it. As long as it's between consenting parties. I assume the Jello consents.
The problem with this episode is that it, like, raises these questions in theory and then really doesn't do much with them. It kind of just lets them float. It's like, they actually mention the gay question quite quickly and then just brush over it.
Yeah,
that's kind of just Black Mirror. That's just what Black Mirror does.
But it's also interesting because
the show used to be better, or maybe I was just like a first year and was really high.
Part of liking Black Mirror is hating Black Mirror. Like, if you like the show, you have to kind of hate everything about it.
Yeah, it's just the fandom. But one of the things that I thought was interesting on that subject is the idea that this is kind of one of the first times I've seen in media where the queer representation is boring. Like, the queer themes are boring. Like, in pretty much most of the media that we consume, the queer part is a highlight. And in most media that queer representation or something like that shows up, it's a highlight, be it for better or for worse. Whereas this show had monotony, or it was just like there was nothing to it, even though it was a very important question of that entire episode. So even though the episode itself I wasn't terribly much of a fan of, it kind of gave me some hope in the fact that we are now progressing to a place where queer storylines in there are just boring. Like you're
I think
just like,
this
okay,
actually doesn't count as queer representation. I think it's straight representation, and the reality is that all straight dudes want to fuck their bros, and all straight dudes want to be fucked as women because we're all AGP.
More
God,
blowjobs.
this is actual autogynephilia.
Oh my
It
god!
literally
No!
is. Literally,
Literally,
no,
because they get because he talks about like what's the difference between like be as a man and as a woman, and like actually gets into it, which is interesting because it is like an accurate as somebody who's been on both sides of it, it is an accurate representation of what is a male orgasm,
physiological differences
versus quotation marks male orgasm, female orgasm.
Yeah. Okay. We'll just say penis, vagina. I think that's easier. But yeah,
no, because
oh right, yeah.
Because even before surgery, it was still different after.
No, exactly. Yeah, it's a hormonal thing more than it is a genital thing. Like genitals matter in it, but also trans guys who go on T have very, very different orgasms than they did before. Trans women who are just on HRT have very different orgasms and sexual function than they did before. So no, but it did cover that quite briefly. But no, this is literally just autogynephilia representation. This is one of those exchange pornos that you find on 4chan where you take a pill and you turn into the opposite sex for an hour. And you get to fuck like that, and it's
fuck your bros.
It's just a fetish thing, and it's they took one of those PNG files that they found on LGBT 4chan board, and they just blew it up into a 1 hour long drama,
which I personally appreciate because
it's actually good representation.
Yeah, two guys fucking in a game because they're not gay. It's fuck. No,
I would say if you could just take a pill, if you just could take a pill to turn into a different gender to fuck your bros, I wouldn't have bothered with this transition thing because
exactly.
I had to go through hormones and surgery just so I could fuck my bros.
I wonder if Big Pharma's holding back the pill. They just have it, but they haven't given it to us yet. They're waiting until the new.
To fuck all my bros.
Excellent. Well,
no, and
do you guys have it?
It's the little computer thing that you put on your head. It's like a sissy hypno device.
I think you're telling people too much about what we all know. Fucking people stumbling across this. You're this kind of porn. I've not heard of this. Hold on,
just really niche porn that degenerate people watch on.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen this where werewolves fuck cactuses? It's incredible. You got it. Everyone's seen it. So
well, it's also furry representation because he wants to fuck the polar bear avatar.
The polar bear. Yeah.
He's just having a identity crisis.
That's what I'm waiting for. Okay, because one thing I was kind of expecting, they didn't go there, but I am waiting for Black Mirror to do a really, really clumsy trans theme. And this one wasn't really that, but given enough episodes, this is Black Mirror we're talking about, they're going to do a not terrible but very clumsy and awkward trans theme. And again, that ties into my other theory, or not theory, but my other statement that cyberpunk is not accurate unless it has super futuristic fursuits.
Yeah.
Which I'm waiting for Black Mirror to step into.
You know that Elon Musk tweet where he says he's going to make cat girls?
Yes, exactly.
That. I want to see that Black Mirror episode.
You want to see Elon Musk as a cat girl?
No, where Elon Musk bioengineers cat girls, and then there's
he becomes
race of
one.
Cat girls.
he becomes one, but in a fly, the movie The Fly accident, he just basically starts melting into a cat.
Oh shit, that would be good. I would love that actually.
I love that too.
Okay. Hey Black Mirror, I got your next season episode right there.
Perfect. You know that Snapchat filter that turns you into the opposite gender?
Okay.
Did you see those memes where dudes were talking about how seeing all their bros as hot chicks is making them question their sexuality?
Exactly.
That's what this episode is. I'm surprised this came out before that Snap filter did.
And that's the question.
This is still another episode where everybody's phones be making everybody crazy. I knew it.
Fuck it. Well, that's the thing, though. It's
episode, except the shitty one with the bees, is about how phones are bad.
Yeah.
I love the one with the bees.
Well, the interesting thing...
That episode, I'm sorry.
No, it's like an episode of Ghost in the Shell. It's so good.
Well, the interesting thing is, it's just like, it is a good question that like we as queer women ask ourselves that generally cishets don't, which is the idea of just like people take for granted gender roles and stuff like that, so they never question them. But we do, and we come to get some very interesting questions. Whereas, you know, I think a lot of people who maybe not have a lot of experience or exposure to queer theory or representation might have looked at this and just been like, okay, yeah, they're definitely gay. I think we all realize it's just like there's something more to it in terms of just like where's the mentality. You know, and why should it matter in the first place? Like, if you want to fuck your bro,
it's just really hot.
Exactly. If you want to fuck your bro, like, go fuck your bro. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, you can still play football. I mean, yeah, consensually. You can still go play football tomorrow. You could still drink like fucking beer. Just go fuck your bro. It helps out.
It's like the homoeroticism of like fighting games.
Yeah.
You know, like two bros sitting on a couch screaming at each other, fighting in a video game. One of them's playing a woman.
Yeah, and then the loser has to fuck the winner.
Well, yeah, the winner is the top.
You speaking of like fucking, never mind, not gonna get into it.
No, do it. No, finish that fucking thought. I will end this episode.
There was like this one fucking like smut comic I remember that was like, I can't remember, but it was like literally like just a bunch of bros like playing video games, and like one of them was like, okay, you know, whoever loses this one has to wear their sister's clothes, and then like they end up like, and then obviously like that one ends up getting fucked, and that's exactly what this episode is.
Yeah, if you can remember it, just for posterity's sakes, if you could just low key send me that title, that would be great. Just for research, I would love to research for a future episode. Moving on to the next topic.
If anybody, oh god, if anybody knows the one I'm talking about, I'm definitely like fucking parting the kimono too hard up my entire personality.
Moving on to the next topic, yes. So the next topic, and I guess is the last topic that we want to kind of touch on this, is how this relates to the real world in terms of one of the more powerful and gaining popularity, I'll call it a toy that exists out there, which is virtual reality as it exists today. Now, as some of you, I'm going to assume, have played or know, there exists a game called VR Chat, which is very similar in the premise that it is a place in which you can just go socialize in character, and you can interact with people as whoever you wish. The times I went in there, I used to be a can of beans because I thought that was awesome.
I love that.
And so, yeah, exactly.
You are a can of beans trapped in the body of a woman, trapped in the body of a man. So
identify as a can of beans.
There's also giant 2D pictures of David Duchovny. It's great. It's a wonderful. I know, right?
No, it's like a con, like a anime convention where everyone's cosplaying, except it's a video game.
Exactly, and there's beans. Yeah, and there's also like communist Ugandan knuckles who like to sprout off propaganda.
I remember that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a pretty interesting place, but for a lot of people that maybe not out of the closet yet, that place is kind of this refuge where they start to go to, and I think we could start the conversation by saying, like, why do you think that is the case?
Well, it's an escape. It's like you get to retreat from a world that is hostile to you, that you feel out of place in, and go to somewhere where you can construct an identity as you wish without the like pressures of other people.
Well, yeah, it's the ultimate. It's the ultimate result of like the online escapism thing, which I mean, everybody is familiar with to some level or another. But I think it's
online escapism. I don't know her.
Which I think is rough because, you know, part of it is like it is partially like, I mean, as trans people, like a lot of us either are or have been through that situation as a coping mechanism, but also it's the same type of thing that breeds, you know, like the incels and like the terminally online
where
fucking
that's
extremists.
The only place you can exist. And you
there is a us version of the incel and terminally online extremist that we don't like to talk about, but you know, that's neither here nor there.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing is like I could see something like VR chat, and we're just going to go with VR chat for now, just because
it's a good representation of sort of what is looked into in this, like the idea of like, is what happens in this thing in like this VR space where you are representing yourself as something that may be completely dissimilar from what you truly are. Is it real? Does it count?
Yeah, because I mean, that's the thing, like, because I think, like, it serves a purpose, and I'll come back to what you were saying as well, but, like, I think it's a good idea in terms of, like, sort of maybe, like, you know, kids or what are the cases, or people at any age, for that matter, who want to try expressing themselves, because there's, like, this, and I've noticed it, and I think it's stupid, and I wish we could kind of phase it out of society, along with a lot of different things, but the idea that, like, if I think I am trans, or if I feel like I'm gay or something like that, there's an expectation that I absolutely have to know that for sure. And there is no wiggle room for me to go try and fail. With most things in life, like, you have the opportunity to go try something. It's like, hey, you wanted to try going to school? That's cool. Or you wanted to try doing this? Oh, that wasn't you. That's fine. Like, there's a journey that people are allowed to take to find themselves. But with queerness, it's almost like you have to know, and if you fuck up, it's a bigger black mark on your identity.
Yeah, like if you come out as trans and then detransition. Like, that was one of my fears when I came out.
Yeah.
This is all going to be a mistake, and then I'm going to be, like, so embarrassed.
Exactly. And that was the same for me, and that was, like, one of the things I took a year before I started taking hormones, just because I'm like, I need to make sure. And even
but
when
no,
I thought,
we have to withhold, you know, support for trans people, because what if some of them it's just a phase?
Well, exactly. And so that's my point. It's just like, there is, for the most part, like, what if it is just a phase? Like, all we did was just help somebody on their journey to figuring out who they are. So in that regards, I think it's something that exists. But coming back to VR chat specifically, the problem with spaces like that is the fact that they become addictive. And that was very prevalent in the Vipers episode that we watched, where the one guy was basically said he could not have sex with anybody anymore because it was too real, it was too online.
And the other one was, like, neglecting his family and his, like, relationship and everything,
Exactly.
like, while it was going on, despite his whole identity being, like family guy.
Exactly. And so, and without getting into too much detail, like, I witnessed this firsthand with somebody who basically went online into VR chat and then never returned. And basically they spend most of their waking hours there. They sleep there. They once told me that VR chat is the real world. And just like, it is an unhealthy level of addiction of a good idea. Again, I think it's great that there's an opportunity for especially baby queers who are just maybe wanting to figure stuff out. They
and
can
also,
go in
like,
there.
people who might be, like, disabled or, like, just physically, like, completely unable to interact with the real world as much as, like, is healthy for a human being, which I think is really well explored in the San Junipero episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah, and I mean, and that was a great
That's
episode that maybe
to do.
Oh, we should absolutely do that one.
'Cause that's a good version of this. That's like a positive, like, view on virtual reality.
Totally. And so, like, there is a good balance to it, but, like, the problem that it's highlighted both in the show and in real life is just, like, is VR addiction to away from the real world. And it's like, I mean, like, I say this, and I gave this a lot of thought because, you know, I remember, like, when, like, television came out and fucking the old generation was like, oh, it's the devil. Or fucking rock and roll music.
Is.
It's true, but, you know.
Rock and roll music made me a woman.
Puddle of mud made me a woman. But that's the thing. It's like, there is a validity to it, and I would love to get VR one day to play some horror games. But there is a point in which time, like, you have to go out and experience the uncomfortableness of reality in order for you to, I guess, realize who you fully are. Like, you just
find your place in it, and if virtual reality or online in general becomes a way for you to never confront that, it can be dangerous.
Yeah, and like I said, you can lose yourself in the process. Like, it's just, like, for anybody who's listening to this, just, like, fucking VR isn't the real world. Like, it's a great place to go and have fun, but
neither is Twitter, for the record.
Yeah, Twitter.
No, Twitter is
forums,
absolutely
fucking MMO games. Like, it's. But then also, like,
oh god,
that's
I played
interesting
so
because
much World of Warcraft. I kind of did this to myself in high school.
That's what I want to get to, is because there are people who are like, you know, oh, I have, you know, X anxiety, I have X depression, and, like, I can't interact with the real world. But then also, like, there are lots of people go through that phase and come out the other side of it, like being a social person in the real world and being like, wow, shit, that was in the real world. I'm sure glad I didn't like get stuck in that for my entire life. So like, there's a different, you can't necessarily trust what your interpretation of what you can and can't do is at the time versus what is reality and what you may like know.
Or sometimes you need it and then you don't anymore. But
exactly.
There was somebody, a friend of mine who does therapy, basically says like a lot of those games, it's one of those things that it's just they do it because they're going through a rough stage, and that environment gives them a sense of control. And that's good. Like, I mean, like, if you're in a bad place and you need that, be it World of Warcraft, VR chat, fucking, I don't know, Conan Online, I think that's a thing.
Our Discord server.
Our Discord server, which you should all stay in permanently.
It's the only good.
Replace your social life with our Discord.
It's the no horny zone. It's perfect. But it's there needs to be a sense, like, as we move forward, because I mean, like, I honestly personally believe like things like VR chat will start becoming more and more prevalent, and I think it's again a really good gateway for queer people. But we also need to be mindful of it's a place to pass through, not to stay. The other thing too that was something that showed up in VR chat was just so it's actually funny now that we're talking about this. I realized there was just like tons of horny men in there, unsurprisingly, but being horny with other men in like cute anime girl avatars, and they were fine with it. These were dudes that would otherwise be like completely hetero, and just like, cause like I don't know if you guys know this, but like in fucking VR chat you can make a private world, and I know for a fact people would hold orgies in them. Like you would go to them and people would just.
And I wasn't invited.
I'm sorry. I don't know. Like it's the detachment from reality. For too long it's detrimental.
Well, and it's like. Another question that gets brought up in the show is like, is it cheating? And I think it is cheating.
It is cheating.
Like, even if like you don't think it quite means the same thing as it does in real life, it's still cheating if you're doing it and being deceptive about it. And sort of, I think that it's really hard to actually just like treat interactions with other people as this one-sided pornographic experience. Like at one point I think Carl says it's like porn. It's not like porn because there's another person on the other end who's interacting with you directly, and it's like the same thing if you have like emotional flings with online friends or with gamer friends or whatever.
Right. Well, it's one of those things where like if you can't say it honestly to your partner, then it's cheating. It's dishonest.
Period.
So yeah, like I mean like that's the simple end of it.
But also, like, part of it is, like, that made me think of is, like, I personally can't, like, relate to relationships that, like, I can't even relate to, like, real life, like, long-distance relationships, much less relationships with people that I, like, have not spent, like, time with in real life. So, like, again, like, it's, like, the idea of what counts as a real relationship is going to differ from person to person.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I mean, it's still one of those things, though, where it's like, I don't know, the human connection, as the world becomes more digital and stuff like that, it's still important to maintain that, like, the physical connection. I find it easier maintaining relationships with people online as opposed to but it's still important to be in a situation where you can actually physically interact with people to the best of your ability anyways. There's a lot of people that can't for reasons, but, try your best. And I mean, like, even if it's uncomfortable, and for like all the young queers listening to this who are like, it's hard to come out of the closet. We were all there, and the first time was scary as fuck. And it might be entertaining to stay in VR chat and never get out of there. But like, there's a big world that's, I promise you, way more interesting than the digital one.
The sociosexual power of cyberspace.
Space.
Yeah, it's basically Club Penguin with strap-ons. It's great.
I mean, is it gay to fuck your bro in Club Penguin?
No. Unequivocally, no. Because you're penguins. It's not even...
Yeah, penguins just do it.
I fucked a penguin trying to get back to you, bro.
Come on, penguins aren't monogamous.
No,
penguins are monogamous, actually.
Oh, really? Oh, shit. Never
mind.
I
think so, yeah.
No, we're a queer podcast, not a penguin fucking fact podcast. Hey, did you know penguins can fly if they really want to? They're just lazy shits. There, you learned it on the show. Don't question it. It's fine. So, I guess kind of getting to the last part here. is this good representation? And or actually, let me again. How do we feel about this show?
Oh, it's bad. It's like juvenile bullshit with like just the most surface level exploration of like the dumbest question ever.
I didn't mind it, but also like I give much more room to Black Mirror's just stupid shit than other people do. So like personally, I didn't mind it mostly because it was just like it took a weird shot at a concept that I hadn't really seen anybody do in that way. So I didn't mind it, even though it fell on its face.
It really like it. I think it could have been a good thing. I just don't think they really committed to the questions that they were raising the way they should have.
Yeah, because I mean, like, I agree with them in the sense that, like, it's just a boring episode. Like, I watched it. I've seen some really cool Black Mirror episodes. The Black Museum? Like, that was an awesome episode and shit. But I like the idea that it presented the theory that gender, or sorry, it presented a like weird sub theory that shows like gender is mostly irrelevant, in terms of, or sorry, orientation is mostly irrelevant, and you should just be able to do what you want without labels, because like if you try to separate that, like, no, I am straight, then it can remove you of opportunities to have something that by the end of this episode it seemed like everyone was into. So again, it was a boring episode. I didn't really like it in terms of far as Black Mirror episodes go, but it did have an interesting question, and I wouldn't say it's like bad representation or anything. I just think it's just a very interesting question about gender, which you can have in pretty much any 101 level psych class or our Discord server. So thank you again all for joining us this week as we try to figure out what's gay. In conclusion, basically, I guess watch it. It's okay. It's not one of the greatest episodes. Fucking go watch Girl again if you want to feel something. Just a couple housekeeping things before we forget. Patreon is up. We actually just released our first early access episode. So those on Patreon at the $5 tier or more get access to the episode. So ultimately, please join. It gives you access to the content, the Discord server, the better suggestion box.
Yeah,
but
we're
also
almost
too
up enough to like cover hosting costs and
and that would be great because right now we're paying for hosting costs out of our own pocket, and honestly, we're not too far away from having that covered. That would be really nice.
Most of our budget currently goes to Amy's ketamine problem, so we need to get that covered.
Perfect. Also, too, one of the other things to bring up is that if you could all go ahead and, if you have the opportunity, give us a rating on whatever platform you're listening to, iTunes, SoundCloud, whatever. All that does is help promote us and show us that, you like it and other people might like it too, which we obviously love to have more people on here. Perfect. Yeah. So whatever platform that you're on, please rate us. It always helps. And we would love to keep going with this. Things have been going very, 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 very well. So obviously we'd like to continue. And I think that's pretty much it for housekeeping stuff. So, that was this week's episode. Thank you all again for joining us. I'm Madeline Hops. I am rabbit_is_dead at Twitter and Twitch. I'm going to be moving these next couple weeks, so it's going to be fun for me. I'll be all over the place, but
might be editing for once.
Yeah, so if one of the episodes
real
coming up,
podcasters.
yeah, I insist that one of you dubs over Rain's voice for the beginning of that episode so we know which one it is.
Mama, what does mean?
No. Perfect. And so I do streaming fairly regularly. Thank you to everyone who helped. I'm now an affiliate, so I actually make money off streaming now, which is pretty dope. So thank you for everyone.
To support your ketamine addiction?
Yeah, no, it's, again, ketamine hobby. We've been over this. I do that, and we stream art and shit, so yeah, cool.
Mm-hmm. I'm Amy. I'm at Lavender Ashtray on Twitter. I'm not doing anything.
And I'm Ree Carter. My Twitter is RHICARTER. I make video games over at Dead Genre, and give me money so I can support my ketamine addiction.
Next episode, we're going to record on ketamine. I'm really stoked.
Yes. And also,
honestly, that would be pretty fun. We should do that.
Well, I mean, like, we're recording our next episode in about half an hour, so I'm going to need to go find some ketamine in the middle of the fucking woods where I live, so,
Ree, come over.
Yeah. Also, too, I think that'll be our if we start making $100 a month, we will do an episode completely on fucking ketamine or something.
Is that
else.
legal? Is it?
No.
I don't know if
It's
that's
legal.
No, ketamine is not legal.
Sorry, don't do I thought you said kettle tea.
Ketamine
We're gonna
is
have
illegal.
kettle tea.
What's the silliest drug that's completely legal that we can admit
Whippets.
to doing a podcast on?
NyQuil.
Whippets. I mean, like, you can't really do a podcast on whippets.
Yeah,
We
you can do it
can
on
take
NyQuil, though.
whippets while we do a podcast, but
Thank you. Also, to one last thank you out there. If
it'll be like a drinking game, but instead of taking a shot, you take a whippet. Actually, okay. Patreon only episode idea. We go through like Andrea Long Chu fucking stink pieces, except we make a drinking game out of it.
you hear she's writing a book. Like, you hear that her book is coming out soon.
Is she actually reading a book?
She's writing a book and it's coming out soon. Or she already wrote
God.
the book. It's called Females.
Of course it is. Of course it fucking is. What else would it be called? Send us, make sure, go on our Discord and send us, like, shitty articles, either by or about, or both, about trans people, and we will do Patreon exclusives about them.
Yeah, exactly. And also, a big shout out to my friend Maxi, who going forward has agreed to help EQ these episodes. So if y'all start hearing something better, she's actually doing that for us, and she's wonderful for doing it. Thanks, Maxi.
And if you hear, like, Marxist-Leninist Maoist propaganda inserted into the episode, just know that wasn't us.
Fucking built-in scapegoat. All right.
Since she's helping us, I take back my comment about how trans people all get sent to the Lao guy that I made in our M Butterfly episode. I take it back and I apologize.
Oh, perfect. All right. Well, from all of us to you, thanks again for listening. And depending on how our schedule looks like, we'll either see you next week or in 2 weeks. I don't fucking know how this is gonna go out. So love you. Bye.
Bye.
We should cut that. That's offensive.